Bring Me the Horizon back out on tour on the First Love tour, and I'm thrilled to be joined by Matt Nicholls, the drummer for the band, and thanks so much for taking the time to join us for your show in Cardiff tonight. In smack bang in the middle really of this UK leg of this tour. You've done about 13, 16 dates or so in Europe, and now another few dates in the UK, playing some big venues. Played in Glasgow, I think was the last show on the tour, and then down here in Cardiff. How have things been going?
Really good. It's good to get back to normal, I suppose. Had like a year and a half off. I mean, we recorded the album then, but we haven't played shows for a long time, so it's good to get playing again and get back to normal. This is like normality for us being on tour. So when we're at home, you just don't know what to do with yourself. So I just end up sitting on my arse watching telly too much. But yeah, it's good. Feels good. Shows have been good. So yeah.
What are the breaks like then? In that sense, if you've got kind of an optimum kind of period of time, because I presume you need the breaks, right? You can't be on that cycle the whole time. But what is ideal for you? Is that kind of year and a half a bit too long for your liking, or?
It's weird. It's like when we released Sempiternal, we did that tour. We toured that for a couple of years, and then when it comes to the end of the touring cycle, you usually have a bit of time off to like. He's come back down to earth, I guess, but we didn't. We kind of just jumped straight back into writing. We must have had like a month and a half off, and then we just got like, just felt like we needed to just carry on. So we went straight into writing and recording. So we didn't really have any time off between Sempiternal and That's the Spirit. So when it came to finishing the That's the Spirit tour cycle, we just decided to have an extended amount of time off. You know what I mean? I think we all needed it. We've just been on tour for years. And so yeah, we just decided to have an extended break, and that was that. Yeah.
I mean, you started very young as a band. You've been together a long time, but you're prolific as well. You know, the 6th album coming out January 25th, I believe, is the release date now. Obviously, a couple of singles have gone out already for that. I mean, that is a lot of material to produce for a lot of bands in that time, sort of churning out an album every couple, sometimes every 3 years.
Yeah.
I suppose that's how it's always been, like you were saying before, and it's just that cycle that you're in, and you've been together for so long, your mates, and that's a way of life.
Yeah, I mean, well, we've grown up with it, you know what I mean? We started the band when we were 17 and 16 years old, so we kind of, like all your mates from back home, they all go to the pub and stuff like that, and they all go out, and life just carries on, you know what I mean? But for us, we grew up in this, you know what I mean? So for us, being on tours is so normal for us. And having time off's not normal, so you kind of don't know what to do with yourself. So that's what I mean. I was just like twiddling my thumbs about, just sat at home like not knowing what to do with myself. But it's like I say, we've grown up in it, so it's just what we used to. It's just normal for us to be on tour, so it just feels good to be back out again playing shows.
I suppose you're so young relatively when you're starting, and you get into that cycle now, and obviously the sound has progressed and developed over time, and your drumming has as well.
Yeah.
Both in a playing and a writing sense. Could you talk maybe a little bit about those two aspects? Firstly, the writing side of your, what you focus on now as a drummer and how it's developed, but then also just in terms of that live playing.
Well, when I started the band, I could barely play drums. I didn't have a clue. I had a drum kit. My mum and dad separated when I was about 14. And my dad asked me, you can have one thing. What do you want? And for some reason I just said I wanted a drum kit. So my dad took me to Rotherham Market, and I got this drum kit. It must have been about £250. It was just so basic, you know what I mean? But it was at my dad's house, and I lived at my mum's. So it was something I never really took seriously. I never really had aspirations to be a drummer. I just wanted one for some reason. I don't know why. But so yeah, I never really dreamt of being a drummer or had goals to be a drummer. I didn't really have drum heroes or anything like that. It was just something that I thought cool to have a drum kit. I think my next door neighbour had one, and I played his once, and then I got a feel for it. You know what I mean? I love one of these. But like I say, here at my dad's house, when I lived at my mum's, so I just never took it seriously. I never had a lesson. I never did anything. I just used to just go to my dad's house and play, like just hit him until someone complained about it, and then I'd stop. But so when the band started, I could barely play. You know what I mean? I could barely play. I had crap gear, didn't know what I was doing. But as I guess I learned. I still never had a lesson. I just learned by playing live. That were my method of learning how to play drums, I just kind of got thrown into it. Do you know what I mean? And then it just picked up from there. But I think my playing is just, it's got better. It's just, I've learned how to play drums properly. Like back in the day, I just winged it. You know what I mean? I just blagged it all. You know what I mean? Just like I didn't really practice grooves. I just practiced how to go fast or slow. So there was no like grooving or anything like that. Like when I think about it, I wish I did. I wish I did have lessons, and I wish I did learn like how I like groove properly and whatever. But the sort of stuff we were playing, it was just like fast metally stuff. So I just used to practice like just my technique with my fingers, just so I could play fast.
Yeah.
My double kick pedal technique, and so yeah, I just blagged it really. But I guess as the albums have progressed, my playing's it's toned down a lot more. It's a lot more stripped back. It's not. Since Jordan came into the band, he's very musical guy. You know what I mean? He gets songwriting, whereas we did to an extent, but not like properly. Do you know what I mean? So like there's so much going on in the old stuff. Like when it comes around to playing the old stuff live, I always don't want to play it because I just put too much in there. I just tried to be. Just too much, you know what I mean? So like as it's progressed and whatever, I've stripped it back, and it's like it's a lot more groove orientated and not so much just more. It's like less is more nowadays, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like so, it's just a lot more focused on actual grooves and nice playing rather than just going as fast as I can.
Yeah, and I was going to ask about that with the addition of Jordan, because I think I read that you do this bit is collaborative a little bit in terms of the writing of the drum parts and things like that, and you have conversations, and he'll suggest something, and then you'll adapt it to what you think is right for the track. Has that been an enjoyable change for you since he's come in and on the writing side?
Yeah, like I say, like I've never really, you know what I mean? I'm not like a taught drummer. I don't really know too much like technical side and stuff. Do you know what I mean? I just, like I said, he used to go mental. But with Jordan coming in, he just knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And so what'll happen is Ollie and Jordan will do the majority of the writing, and Jordan will write like a skeleton beat, and then we'll all come in, sit around, and we'll just go through it, and we'll say, this sounds good, do this. This needs to be like this. You know what I mean? So it's like you say, I guess it's like a collaborative thing. But yeah, it's there's never anything. If he puts something in there or whatever, and I don't think I can play it, then we'll just work our way around it to the point where I feel comfortable with what we're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, he definitely helped my drum playing. It's like I'm learning new things every time we write a new record. I'm learning how to do different stuff and whatever. So yes, I don't want to praise him too much because he'll his head will explode. But no, he's a good lad, and he's definitely helped me be a better musician.
I mean, you've played with, on your rise as a band, some incredible bands that you've got to play with over the years. Killswitch Engage, Devil Driver, Machine, and all these great bands with great drummers. Yeah. Has that also been something which has impacted on you? Are there particular drummers throughout the years that you've played with, or not, that have kind of, because as you said very humbly, you were kind of learning as you were going through.
Yeah.
That must have been an incredible experience for you, as a young kid, relatively, especially in those earlier years, to see some of these guys firsthand, and you must have taken something away from that.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said that I've never really been inspired by drummers on records as much, or like never really been into. I'm not a drum geek. Do you know what I mean? I feel more inspired by drummers we go on tour with. I might just watch drummers and I just think, I'd love to be doing that. You know what I mean? Like, how are you doing that and stuff. So. Yeah, like I remember we were on tour with The Haunted. This is years and years ago. I think we were on like our first album, and we were just playing doubles. And I didn't know what that were. You know what I mean? So I remember saying to him, he was a very straightforward guy. When if he still plays for The Haunted or whatever, but he just looked at me. I was like, "What are you doing there?" And he just looked at me and just went, "How do you not know that?" Just like, that's so basic. And then I was just kind of like. Okay, but then he showed me how to do it, and then I just took that on board, and then I incorporated it into my playing. You know what I mean? So, but now I definitely get inspired by playing shows with different drummers, like Dan Sale from Architects. We've done countless shows with them guys, and watching him, he's just. I think he's one of the best metal drummers out there today. Modern metal, anyway. Do you know what I mean? So it's that helps me a lot, and just watch Dan play and just want to emulate it. Not really like just do exactly what he's doing, but just watch how easy he makes it look.
Yeah.
And then I was just thinking, why can't it be that easy for me? And so you just get inspired in different ways. But yeah, like I said, I've never really had an aspiration to be this big drummer or anything like that. But yeah, I can't complain.
No, it's going all right, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, you must have I'm just one more sort of question, I suppose, on this topic, because it's sort of fascinating. I mean, a lot of drummers we talk to, huge sort of outward self-confidence as well. You've talked about, I've read some the things, if something doesn't quite go right for you in a gig, you kind of can occasionally get down on yourself and things like that. But to have been through this since the age of 16, 17, 18, playing these huge gigs and everything, there must be some sort of inner self-confidence and belief there to have kind of thrown yourself into those situations when you perhaps didn't have a belief in your playing necessarily, and being able to adapt and grow with it.
Sort of. I think it just comes from the buzz of being on stage and playing shows. That's where I want to, I don't consider myself a really good drummer. I'm good for this band. I'm the best drummer this band can have. Do you know what I mean? But it's just weird. There's so many good drummers. And you look on social media nowadays, and people it's just so accessible. Watching all these drummers, and I watch these drummers, and I just think, you know what I mean? These people are killing it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then I think about my playing, and I'm just like, but then it's just, I don't know. I'm right for this band, and you know what I mean. And that's all that matters really. So I'm not focused on trying to be the best drummer out there. I just want to be the best drummer for this band, and that's all it is. And it's like when I play live, and I do put a lot of pressure on myself, because I just want to be good live. You know what I mean? Like when I don't want people to go away thinking that drummer a bit or anything like that. You know what I mean? Or I don't want my band to just think, oh, you're one tonight. It's just I just want to not be the rest of my band, if you know what I mean. Yeah, but
I think that's what we're all trying to do.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not a very confident drummer. I get nervous before every show, and I think that just shows that I care a bit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
If you're going on there and you're just thinking, whatever, it's just another gig, I can smash this, and that's fair enough. But for me, it's just like I don't want to be. So that's all it is, really.
Yeah. No, it's it's a good mantra to live by.
Don't
fun. So that's key, isn't it? That you care, and I think we've just come here now. There are people lined up outside already. Outside, there are people I understand that have been here. There's a couple of tents out there, all sorts. Your fan base cares, and if they can see you care, that must be such a big thing.
Yeah, when you see so many bands nowadays, and they just look like they lack passion. Especially people that have been doing it long. I mean, we've been doing it for ages, you know what I mean? Like 14, 15 years we've been playing live music, and you've just got to put everything into it. Like you say, these people that queue out there for hours and hours, and who look forward to this thing. As soon as it's announced, they've got months and months to wait, and you know what I mean? So you've just got to put everything into your live shows, and I hate it when I see bands and they just look like they just don't give a shit anymore. It's just, they're just standing still, and like, it just looks like mundane, you know what I mean? It's like, come on, these people have paid to see you, just put something into it and show that you still give a shit about what it is you're doing, you know what I mean? So I think we all think that we kind of pride ourselves on our live shows, basically. I mean, our records are good, obviously. Well, I think they are. And then, but it's all about the live show for us. That's what we started our band for.
Yeah. We
didn't really start our band with aspirations to become what we are now. We used to go to gigs, and we just used to think, I want people to mosh. I want to be in a band, and I want people to mosh to my band. And that's all we've ever done, is just think about the live shows. Like, you know what I mean? That's what we're in this band for, and that's the best moments of being in this band is when you're on stage for however long you're on there. You know what I mean? So it's paramount that we put on a good show. So yeah.
Well, I mean, 5 studio albums, a couple of live albums, an amazing experience at the Royal Albert Hall. I imagine that must have been unreal, and a different challenge for you as well, I suppose, playing with an orchestra.
Yeah, it was fun. It was cool. Like, because usually I'm at the back, and then I've just got like all these people behind me, and it was just a weird experience. You know what I mean? I had screens as well. I've never played with screens in front of me and stuff. But it was just like you say, just like a pretty surreal experience. Like it's such a prestigious venue in it, and it was all for a good cause as well.
Yes.
We've always thought about doing like the orchestral thing, but then when the opportunity came to do the Teenage Cancer Trust thing, we were like, why don't we do it? It's going to be raw, but let's do the orchestra thing. And but yeah, I think it came off really well. It's one of the highlights of the band's career. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was
I think
really
the
cool.
highlight of any musician's career.
Yeah,
put it that way.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, and it went so well.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes them things can just go a bit terribly wrong, like, but everything was perfect. The set was perfect. You know what I mean? The band played really well. The crowd were great. The orchestra were mental. You know what I mean? They're just great musicians. So it's cool to have had them on board and whatever. But yeah, it was really, really, really good.
And to get to that with your mates who you started a band with,
Yeah.
when you were a teenager, that must be something
Yeah.
incredible.
That thing is our band. We're all mates still. You know what I mean? It's like going back to earlier when I'm saying people just look like just mundane on stage, and you can just imagine when they're off stage and when they're off cycle, they don't really just talk to each other. They don't really hang out. Whereas we're still really good friends, like best friends. Like, you know what I mean? We hang out with each other off tour. We do stuff together. You know what I mean? We're just friends, and I think that speaks a lot for our band. You know what I mean? We've been doing this for so long. Usually you'd think we hate each other, but it's the opposite. We're all pulling together. Do you know what I mean? If someone's not pulling their weight, then it shows.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're all on the same page.
That must speak to the success of the band, no doubt. I mean, that close bond, I'm sure, as you say, you see a lot of bands that, you know, they have the opposite effect on, but for you guys, sharing these experiences,
it's like spending a lot of time with anyone. You know, you can get under everyone's skin, but everyone knows how this works. Like, I think just growing up in it and being so young and learning so early. Like we had a long, like, a few years of just getting hammered and like just having a laugh with it, or you know what I mean. And then it came to a point where we were just like, we need to start taking this seriously, or this is just going to fizzle out. You know what I mean? And then we all got our heads together, and now it's just we take it just really seriously. You know what I mean? We want to be the best we can be. No one drinks before a show. No one does anything. Everyone's just got one thing in the mind, and that's to put on a wicked show and to put everything into it. You know what I mean? It's good. We're all pulling together.
Well, yeah, you've got your sixth studio album coming up in January, Ammo. A couple of singles already out. I assume you're playing some of those tunes in the set on this tour. I think I've seen that online as well. So I think you certainly are. But that's for people to look forward to. You know, just talk a little bit about the writing process and the production of that album. You've kind of kept that side of things again, the production in-house again.
Yeah.
You know, generally liking to go away, isolated sort of spaces and things like that, and working, focusing on the music, and that's been a proven formula for you, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, the last two records, Sempiternal and That Spirit, we wrote at Ollie's house, and we just get around the computer. We're not like a jam band, you know what I mean? We used to, before Jordan came into the band and whatever. One of them bands would sit around and we'd twiddle our thumbs and we'd be there for hours, and you'd come out with absolutely nothing. But for us, it just works right to do everything straight into the computer, and you can get a feel for the song faster. Do you know what I mean? Rather than everyone sitting around and trying to learn parts and then jamming it for ages, and then in the end of the day just going, no, that's not working. For us, it's just so easy. It's an easy process to just put everything straight into a computer and just. But the first times we did that at Ollie's house, and this record we built he owns a building in Sheffield, but he runs his clothing brand from it. He's got a bar in there now, and it's where the band practices before tours and stuff. And we put some stud walls up and built this like purpose-built little writing space, and it's got a mic booth in there, and we've got all these amps and guitars and stuff. So it's just an easier process for us. So we did it there this time, and then we did that for a few months. Got the songs. Well, to be fair, the songs, it was weird because usually we go to record, and when we're ready to record, the songs are like 98% done. You know what you're doing. You go in the studio. I'm doing like 10 drum tracks or whatever. Then the guitarist will come up bass. But this time it were like the songs were so not done. Do you know what I mean? It was we went to LA to record the record, and they were like some demos were just like 20% done. So it was weird. It were like I'd track 3 drum tracks, and then I'd stop. Then he'd do the guitars, and we were just like writing as we were recording. Do you know what I mean? And so it was pretty cool in a way, because some of the demos just went totally the opposite direction you thought they were going. Do you know what I mean? You thought it were going this, but no, scrap that. Taking that part of that song, and we've written this new part, so it was like, it was cool in that way, because it kept it quite exciting. You know what I mean?
That must translate through the music as well. How to make it feel fresh to you guys then when you're recording, and it's like anything. I suppose you play something 100 times. It's difficult to keep that energy, but that energy, I imagine, is going to translate through then into the tracks.
Yeah, definitely. It was just like it were a different experience for us, but it were really good. I mean, we writ in Sheffield, and it were just winter, so we were pissing it down and that. And then by the time we got to LA, it was just so sunny, and it was just bright, and it kind of it's good to have that change of scenery for us, and I think that helped as well. Just set the tone a little bit more for what we were trying to do. But yeah, it were a fun process. There were no point where I was bored. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like LA's. Because when we first talked about LA, we were just a bit like, oh, do we really want to go to LA? Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? But it was like LA's what you make it and what you want it to be. You can go out and you can do stuff. There's a lot of stuff to do, or it can be as chilled as you want, and we just took the chilled option. Yeah. You know what I mean? We all knew what we were there for a reason. But I think it definitely helped having a change of scenery. Yeah. But yeah.
Latest single, latest video, Side Wonderful Life, collaboration with Danny Filth as well. I don't know if people saw that necessarily coming straight away, but it seems to work really well. I've got to ask you as well, on a person, I'm a massive wrestling fan, so I saw that pop up on Takeover War Games as well. I think it's the second time NXT's used one of the tracks as well. So what was that like?
It's pretty funny. I mean, I follow wrestling, but I don't watch it, if you know what I mean. Like, I follow it on like Instagram and stuff. So I know who's who and what, but I don't really watch it. But growing up as a kid, I loved it. Yeah. Loved it. So for me, it was cool when we got that. They asked us to do it the first time. I was so psyched. And then got to meet like Triple H and all that stuff. And for me, as a kid, like growing up as a 90s kid, I loved it, and especially like Triple H. And that, so that was cool. And then they asked us to do it again, and we were just like, yeah, why not? But it's always cool doing stuff like that. It's quite nostalgic, you know what I mean? It's like I say, I'm not necessarily the biggest wrestling fan now. I mean, I still appreciate it. Yeah. I still get why people watch it. But it was quite surreal and nostalgic. But it's cool.
I think Seth Rollins is a fan as well, isn't
he? Yeah, he is. He's always spoke to him a little bit. We've never actually met him. Yeah. But now he's mentioned us in interviews and stuff before, and said he likes the band. So I think he must have messaged Ollie and spoke to him and that. But now he seems like a nice kid. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Well, I know those takeover shows, sometimes they quite often have live music at the actual show in the arena. So is that something that you'd like think about doing potentially if the opportunity, the right moment came up?
It got talked about, but I think we turned it down. I don't know why, but we did. We just didn't think we were right for it, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but you know what I mean. But we're happy for him to use our music and stuff like that. But I don't think it'll like our rap unless it's like WrestleMania or something.
Well, yeah, that'd be amazing.
You'd have to think about it. But it is what it is. It's cool. They're happy to use it. I'm glad.
That's great. We're going to talk. We're a drum shop here. It's a new drum deck, but we're going to talk gear.
Yeah.
We're going to talk more in depth, I think, when we take a look. But just briefly, sort of some of the stuff. You're with Tama now.
Yeah.
You've loved Tama for a long time.
I have them, yeah.
Yeah. And how's that relationship been now? It's kind of formally there with Tama.
It's great. I've been with SJC for a long time, since like the second record, and it was cool. It was quite like on a friend's level. Mike came out to a show. We were on Warp Tour, and I met him. I always noticed these drum companies. You know what I mean? I always think, oh, I love one of them. came up to me and he started talking to me, and I was like, oh, and he was just like, what would you want? And I just, off the top of my head, I just said I want an acrylic kit and I want like green splatter on it, neon green splatter, and he just got his phone out, like, writ it out, and that's just as easy as it happened, you know what I mean? And then it just moved on from there, but yeah, it's cool with SJC. I've got a lot of respect for the guys and the brand. I think coming where they've come from, it's quite. It's a story not too like unfamiliar with ours. You know what I mean? Started small and it's gone from strength to strength to strength, and now they're actually like they're killing it. They've got these big drummers like Trey Cole, Jay Weinberg, Josh Dunn, Dan Searle. It's a lot of good drummers. You know what I mean? And I think they've pat themselves on the back. They've absolutely killed it. But for me, it was nothing personal. I just fancied a change. Do you know what I mean? I'd been with them for so long, and I've appreciated everything they've ever done for me. But I just fancied a change personally. It was nothing. No, like I weren't unhappy with the drums. I weren't unhappy with the guys. I just fancied it. And like you say, I've always been a fan of Tama drums. I had a Star Classic. I bought it before we recorded the second record, just like a Maple Star Classic. And we've recorded every record on it. And so I know what Tama's all about. I know the great sounding drums, the solid drums, you know what I mean? They're proper. It's proper, you know what I mean? And I just put a word out, and I think my drum tech Andy got in touch with Ian, and he just said, whatever you want. From then on, and I was like, right, cool. What was that?
Yeah.
And so met Ian from Tama, and that's something I didn't have with a relationship with SJC. Is it a UK guy being on everything? You know what I mean? It's like if I say I want something, it's done instantly. You know what I mean? It's just so easy. The relationship and stuff. And he's very enthusiastic bloke.
Yeah.
He's a top lad. You know what I mean? It's like I take out him a bit because he's too enthusiastic, whereas I'm super laid back. I'm just a bit like, alright, you know what I mean? He tells me, I'm going to put you on front cover rhythm, and I'm like, alright, okay, you know what I mean? So, and then he was just like, hey, your rhythm shoots here, and I was like, you know, so
what was that like?
It was cool.
Yeah.
It's like I say, I don't consider myself like a great drummer. I almost like thinking, oh, what are other drummers going to think of me on this magazine, you know what I mean? But then in the end I just thought, I'm just going to go for it, you know what I mean? And I did, and I'm proud, you know what I mean? Like everyone's just like, it's crazy, you're on Rhythm magazine, front cover, and I was like, it's pretty mad, but like, yeah, it's pretty weird.
Well, it's funny, like, you know, any drummer that we've spoken to that has had that honour, it's always held, you know, everyone holds that extremely highly, so
no, it's really cool. I'm really appreciative of Rhythm for actually having me on it, and Ian for sorting it out, and you know, but yeah, it's like he just that's like what I'm saying. It's like I don't consider myself up there with some of these drummers, so sometimes I'm just a bit like I don't want to, because I don't want people to think, is he on there? And I'm not, you know what I mean? But that's cool. I'm happy about it.
Okay, I can see. Yeah. Zildjian as well. Cymbals. Yeah, you've been with Zildjian a long time.
Long time. Yeah. Can't fault them. Best cymbals going, if you ask me. Played a bunch of other companies before. They weren't working out. They weren't the right companies. And then when I think I actually approached Zildjian, or I got my tour manager too, and they just went, yeah, whatever you want. And then so I was like, okay, cool. So I went with them guys, and I can't fault them. They've been really nice to me as well. I did like a campaign for them a while back actually, and they were putting me. I was like in my local drum store in Rotherham. I was like in Doncaster, sorry. I was like on like big posters and stuff in there. So it's just weird seeing that kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know. So I remember I used to just beg my mum to take me, just to buy me a second-hand cymbal, because they have like a little second-hand section in there. And I used to beg my mum and beg her, and because, you know, with she was a single parent and stuff, she couldn't really afford these things and that, but in the end I twisted her arm enough. She'd go and I'd get a second-hand cymbal, you know what I mean? But then to go in there and I'm on posters for the cymbals, you know, it's just crazy. It's it's just madness, absolute madness. But yeah, I can't fault Zildjian whatsoever. Playing Vic First Sticks, played Vic First Sticks forever as well. Again, can't fault them. DW Hardware, much to Tama's dismay. They pushed hard for me to play Tama, but I've played DW for so long and I love them. I just love the hardware. It's absolutely solid.
Yeah.
And yeah, the only thing I switched to is the Tama pedals. I play the Speed Cobra pedals, and but yeah, DW with everything else. Yeah, Evans heads again. I think the best heads for me anyway. And yeah, gear's all good.
All good.
Yeah.
Well, we can't wait to hear it and see you play later on. It's going to be a fantastic show, I'm sure. And thanks so much for taking the time to speak to us before in a hectic schedule. It's been a real pleasure. Thanks
Hey, you're
so much,
welcome.
Matt.
You're welcome
Thank
anytime.
you.
Cheers.